Good morning, folks. I'm your host, BKP. I'm sorry, 8:02 this morning. You've been delayed just a minute there. Well, this hat has an orange tint on it. I didn't expect that. I don't know where we're getting the orange tint flying off this hat. Maybe the light's here. So anyhow, it's got a little orange tint. We'll have to check that out on the lighting. Oh, by the way, I'm your host, BKP. There's all the ways to contact us. 706-889-9700, chief@fetchernews.com, chief@fetchernews.com, and all the social media ways to follow us. Now, that being said, I support the President of the United States, Lonnie, but I look like I've got a little orange tint, and I'm not using his orange tint makeup. Is there a way you can look at some of the lighting there or some of the inside the program this morning to see if that could clear up? Thanks, Lonnie. All right, I don't mind. I support the President of the United States, but it seems like I got with the lighting or whatever. Our power went out. Did your power go out? So we're doing the minor adjustments here. Our power went out here at the shop. Had a couple things that we had to redo on our camera. Also, power went out at my house. How about you? If you are in North Georgia, in the area, or Western Carolina, within the mountainous areas, be careful, folks. Flash flooding. The rain is not over. It comes out of the mountains in a delay. You may think, well, the rain ended and then here comes a flood. Yes, so just be careful because, as we told you yesterday, there's going to be power out. The ground is very, very soft. I know you don't want to talk about rain. Trees are turning over in the wind. Yes, that was thunderstorms yesterday afternoon. Very loud thunderstorms throughout the area. That's supposed to continue today. So, excuse me here, just be very cautious of the weather here in North Georgia and wherever you may be. I thought I would put some props up on the hats. Folks, I think this is the first time in, I don't remember ever doing this, but I forgot both of my computers at home. Both. I mean, I have no computers because it's going to have to wing it. I did not have time to go back. I get out of the car and I realize I don't have any computers with me. So I'm working these computers right now, which actually I've got enough to do the show. So I figured what we do is some props here. I have my hat, mega hat, drain the swamp. My other vote Trump, mobs or jobs hat. And then I got my hat here. It says vote Trump 2020, perfect vision. And then I have keep America great 2020. And that's the one with the orange tint, much like myself. So when we go to break, maybe we can clear up my orange glow. I mean, I did not. Yeah, I got you. Lonnie's got to do it on the camera because the power went out. So sorry, folks, about that. I'll just have to stick with the orange glow until we take a break. All right, last night, I want to bring this up for a reason, okay? I want to stay local just for a minute. At 8:30, okay, so I'm getting a lot of text messages. I'm getting people stop me. This is happening. I've read all the articles. I see all the people sending information out. And this is concerning Georgia House Speaker David Ralston and legislative leave. Somebody sent me a message yesterday and asked me why I would not comment. And I'll tell you why. I read the article. Chattanooga Times is after this. AJC, WSB, Eric Erickson. I always love when Eric Erickson chimes in, right? But there's enough chatter that I paid attention to everything. I've read all the articles, as I said, that was redundant. But I wanted to wait, okay? Now, something that's going on in journalism and the media that's very, very concerning right now is this snap to judgment because everybody wants to be the first to break a story. And it's like right now, journalists do not care if they have to come back a week later and try to recover from the lies or what's interesting is just ignore they did the story. So we'll take the story, and we'll get into it in a minute. We won't do it right now. We'll take the story with Smollett, okay? We'll take the story. Now, obviously, I'm not going to. Lonnie, give me, just give me, hold on a minute. I'm trying to do this way. It won't be like this through the entire show, folks, but give me, I think it's, well, hold on here. We got a picture here of this guy. Give me like number, well, you say you don't have this one. Number 20 is false police arrest or felony. You said you didn't have that earlier because that's screenshot number 20. All right, there it is. Okay, thanks. All right, false police reports are a felony. Now, this guy Smollett, right? He's a gay black man in Chicago, claimed that somebody put a noose around his neck and poured some kind of chemical on him and yelled, "This is a mega country. This is mega country," okay? So we have the media immediately ran all of these stories, did not check into anything, and guess what? Now we know that this was just a lie. Now, some of the media have just decided to ignore it. How do I deal with false reporting? Just don't follow it up. Move on. I mean, it's a disaster what we're calling the media today. Now we have, let's go to, I think you have 11, 12, 13 or 14. Either one there. The one with the Kentucky student sues Washington Post. I got the numbers wrong. It says Kentucky student sues Washington Post. My apologies, Lonnie. I was not able, because of the computer, to number these properly, so Lonnie's trying to work with me. So I've got the one there, Kentucky student sues Washington Post, all right? And this is the Catholic, there he goes, Catholic student there at the March for Life. And the media ran the story. Now they're actually being sued. This young man and his family plan to hold the media account. So you can go ahead and take that one down. So the point I'm getting back to, and I'll get back to this at 8:30. At 8:30, we're going to take a break, and at 8:30, we're going to, I'm going to do a segment on Georgia House Speaker, legislative leave, and what I did is I waited, okay, I waited several days to see all the articles, see what happened, and make sure that when I bring you my opinion on what's going on, I can be very clear with it and not just reaction and sensation and trying to get the media let the media get me all hyped up, much like it has a lot of people. So we're going to do that at 8:30. My take on what's going on with legislative leave and Georgia House Speaker David Ralston. Now that being said, let's flip for a minute. We know, okay, Andy McCabe. Now, I do not give props. I think the last time I cringed, the last time I ran a clip from the show. Absolutely cringed. I try to never come on here and run any clips from The View. But there's two reasons I want you to listen to this. Lonnie, I want to go to the clip of The View there. And before we do, I want you to listen. When Meghan McCain, the chubby little white girl that, John McCain's daughter, she's okay. She's a chubby little white girl. I'm a chubby little old white guy, so what the hell? Anyhow, at the end of her questioning on McCabe, listen to the last words that come in out of the left field over here by none other than Joy Behar. Listen to those words right at the end of this clip. Play that clip, Lonnie.
Right here on national TV, that you were not a source for the New York Times, you were never a source for the New York Times or any other publication, considering that's what you're accused of lying about. Basically, were you ever a leaker to the New York Times?
Absolutely not. No, not in any time ever. You should understand, Megan, when I was serving as deputy director, I was one of 2 people in the FBI that had the authority to disclose information to the media. That is an FBI policy. It's baked into the way that we run media relations in the organization. So I transacted on issues regarding the media every single day.
Just really quick, then why did James Comey deny the claim that he approved your leaks to the press?
I don't know why Jim Comey doesn't remember the conversations that we had in the same way that I do. It is understandable. He was under an enormous amount of stress at the time. He had a lot of other kind of more important things to worry about. I can't explain why he doesn't remember them the same way I do.
I thought you guys wrote everything.
Okay. I thought, let me write this down. I thought, because I watched the whole thing, I thought you guys wrote everything down. So Meghan McCain asked him, and that's number 10 there. Put Meghan McCain up while I'm talking about it. Meghan McCain asked him if he was one of the leak, if he was the leak to the New York Times. Remember the leak in the New York Times that nobody has fessed up to? Now, McCabe says no. He's actually one of 2. All right, remember, okay? Remember, he says he's one of 2 that has access or has the ability to go to the New York Times. Go to the media. I'm trying to find something here that I'm going to have up in just a minute. So that being said, at the very end, all right, remember it was just 2 days ago in the 60 Minutes interview, right? It was just 2 days ago in the 60 Minute, it was a Sunday night, a couple nights ago in the 60 Minute interview, right? That McCabe says, we write everything down. That's our training. Remember Scott Pelley said, okay? Remember Scott Pelley said, we write everything down. And the New York Times will not let me in this morning. Great. There's the article there, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Scott Pelley said, you have a great memory. Remember? And I don't want to give Meghan too much credit here. And I find it interesting that I'm actually giving Joy Behar her mindless thought. If she knew she was thinking this out loud, I don't think she would have saying this. If she was thinking this and translated it out loud, I don't think she would have said it. But did you hear at the end? I thought you guys wrote everything down. Now Sunday, Scott Pelley, okay, Scott Pelley on there's my glasses, on CBS, did the interview like this. Remember, he did the interview like this. And he's like, really? Wow. Now you have, remember what Pelley said on CBS, you have just a great memory of every single thing, every account. Why is that? Well, we write everything down. When we're done, we write everything down. That's part of your training, right? Yes, we're trained to write everything down. Okay, so I'm just saying here, I have 2 times here recently, and I tried never to use The View as on this show. I give it no respect whatsoever. It's 8:17, trying to keep up with it. Our power went out. Our studio clock is not set, and so just bear with me. But Meghan McCain asked if he's the New York Times leaker. He doesn't know why James Comey lost his memory on this. Why he lost his memory. He had so much going on. And you know, New York Times, 2 people have access from the FBI. Comey denied it, that he was the leaker. He doesn't remember why Comey would do that, or why Comey doesn't remember. I thought you guys wrote everything down. And that's Joy Behar, and I got to give it to her for thinking out loud and not realizing it. So he's on book tour, and what I would like for you to take away, we're going to play another clip from Anderson Cooper last night. We can't play every clip because he has hit everywhere he's going. He was on Morning Joe. Where's my post? I don't know what number it is. If you can find the one where it says coming up this morning on Morning Joe. Now I haven't had an opportunity to watch that, but Morning Joe there, Andrew McCabe coming up this morning. He has hit everywhere. And the takeaway for me is obviously he's not had a hard question at all. Nobody has asked him while his top position. I want you to remember the FBI, this is the top. And you see what a weasel and a liar and a piece of garbage this guy is. This is the top. This is the deputy director under Comey. You can't go any higher. As you're watching this guy, do you not realize and stop and think, hey, this guy was top of the FBI? This was our top guy? Then he was acting director when Comey got fired. And you know what? President of the United States had every right to fire James Comey. And if they're looking for anybody that's connected to Russia, there's a long list up there in Congress before you come anywhere close to Donald J. Trump. Now, last night, this is making the rounds, but last night, Anderson Cooper, there's 2 spots I want you to listen to here before we take our first break. Let's go to CNN's Anderson Cooper.
Does it make sense to you, I mean, in kind of looking at this now from the perspective, just how many people around the president have lied about their contacts with Russia? I mean, just the sheer number of people lying about things having to do with Russia.
It's extraordinary. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like it. I'm not aware of a single other campaign that's been investigated or looked at for the same curious ties with Russia. And now, as a result of the work that the special counsel has done, and of course all that progress that we're aware of through the public court filings and the information that's been disclosed, I mean, you have a situation where not just one, not just 2, but numerous people in and around the president, in and around the campaign, maintained contacts with individuals from Russia, people connected to the Russian intelligence services. You have a number who have been charged, a number who've been already convicted and pled guilty for all kinds of different offenses. I think I saw in reporting, open source reporting today, maybe the New York Times stories documented over 1,100 contacts between people associated with the Trump campaign and the government of Russia. I mean, that is not a situation I have ever seen before, and why so many of those individuals seem to be trying to conceal those contacts is something that we should all be concerned about.
Given all you know, given all you've seen, is President Trump fit to serve?
I don't think that's for me to determine whether or not he's fit to serve. You know, our decision, certainly in the FBI, the issues that we confront is whether or not an investigation should be undertaken. We don't convict people, we don't throw people in jail. We decide when we think we need to investigate. That's the decision I made in those somewhat crazy days in May of 2017, and it's one I stand by.
Is he fit to lead the FBI? Is he fit to be a commander-in-chief?
You know, I think that's something that our political leaders and the country at large will have to decide.
One of the things I've talked to General Michael Hayden about,
Now, folks, this guy is, and I want to remind you, He is the top of the FBI at this time. Now, they planned a coup. Now, Anderson Cooper, you know, asked him about his involvement or being called the head of the deep state there all the way to the top. But do you realize, do you pay attention to the tense that Cooper asked the questions? How many have lied? That's implying, how do they know? How many have lied? Lying. How many? So many are lying. Now, Cooper implies that he says 1,100 contacts fit to serve. These are the hard-hitting questions Andrew McCabe has gotten. Now, if you're out there and you have, he has an interview, and anyone has asked him to recall the day in his office when Peter Strzok and Lisa Page put their feet up on the coffee table, it said, "Andy, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?" Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, Fusion GPS, is that who they are? Simpson, the dossier. Where are the questions that surround Hillary Clinton? Where are these questions? Now, interestingly, the day after, he does a 60-minute, okay? Now, they do this stuff on purpose. So they set this up. Now, last week, was it last week or week before last, all right? They asked Andrew Whitaker, all right, multiple times. And I don't know if I sent you any Andrew Whitaker pictures, but I'm going to look. Just 1 minute, please. In the first set that I sent you, there is, I think, 1, 2, 3, number 3, 4, and 6. Try 3, 4, and 6, see if I got them right. And so number 3, there you go. And the New York Times report raises new obstruction questions. New York Times, Trump wanted his appointee to run Michael Cohen probe. All right? So McCabe is book tour, 60 minutes, he's out. He's doing these interviews. He's asked by Meghan McCain yesterday, was he the leak to the New York Times? But this morning, this article drops. Now, last week or week before last, when they had Whitaker, the acting attorney general at that time, there you go, Trump tried to get Ally put in charge of investigation into hush money payments. Now, they claim that Donald Trump called Whitaker and asked Whitaker, go to the next one right there. Dems scrutinize former acting attorney general Whitaker for possible perjury. So wait right there for a minute. And I think it's the picture right before that of another guy. Is the picture right before that, the number right before that? Go to that one and see if we got it right there. Yes. Okay, leave that there. So Whitaker testified before Congress. I can get this all chopped up, put together. And he continually was asked, did he have a conversation with the president concerning the Southern District of New York and Cohen and so forth. And the Attorney General is not obligated in any way whatsoever to discuss the conversations that he has with the President of the United States. He's not, and they know that, okay? But they're setting him up, okay, to run another false story. So they set him up. Now, this Jeffrey Bremen, U.S. attorney from the Southern District of New York, used to be partners with Rudy Giuliani, okay? I think him and Rudy Giuliani were law partners. The New York Times is claiming that President Trump put pressure on Whitaker to try to get Jeffrey Berman there to run the case where Michael Cohen was concerned on the hush money. Not true. Not true. So they're going after Whitaker. They're going after the president. And there's no evidence whatsoever. None. But the New York Times is running a new obstruction. I will tell you, CNN, MSNBC, all of them this morning are running with this out of the box, a new obstruction. See, they know there's no obstruction with Mueller. They know that, okay? They know there's no obstruction with Mueller. In the Mueller case with Russia, I'm sorry. There's no obstruction with that case with Russia. They know that, all right? They know they're holding basically nothing when it comes to the President of the United States and this Russian witch hunt. That's why this is called new obstruction. New. And who did they go to? They went to Judge Napolitano and friggin', what's his name there at 3 o'clock, Shepard Smith. The two boys that just saying, if you don't know Judge Napolitano, I can't help you. If you don't know Shepard Smith, I can't help you. If you don't know why they're friends, special friends, I can't be of help. But all the media is running where Judge Napolitano, yes, this is obstruction. Yes, oh my God. They're running the Fox clip with Shepard Smith, and Judge Napolitano has become the liberal left, both of them, hero over at Fox that they run the clip. But the President of the United States did not obstruct justice, and they can't stop until they find something. But don't you think it's interesting? McCabe goes on, Whitaker 2 weeks ago testifies. McCabe drops his book deal, goes on 60 Minutes. Now he's doing this tour, tells me, we know he's a leaker. We know, the president said in a tweet, he's a leaker. Right? And don't you find it interesting, this morning the New York Times drops another story right after Meghan McCain asked him if he's a leak to the New York Times. But they drop another story with a new accusation of obstruction of justice. It's on and on and on. Hey, I'm your host, BKP. Look, put that number 21 or 22, the last picture I sent you before I go to break. You see that Blue Ridge Community Theater last night, February 19th at 7 p.m. What does that say? The road to 2020, realignment in America and what it means. Thank you, Lonnie. Realignment in America and what it means for Georgia. I went last night. I was there and for a couple hours, and I paid attention to this political scientist that gave this speech, and then the open discussion, and we're going to talk about that today. Look at what it says, the road to 2020, realignment in America, and what it means for Georgia. I'm your host, BKP. When we get back, I am going to give my opinion. I'm going to do a segment on House Speaker David Ralston. We'll be back right after these messages.